Hey y'all, good morning or afternoon, whatever it is. How you guys doing? Let me get my banner up here. Happy Monday. Hey Shalma, hey Remy. I am beat. These tournament weekends, I'm telling you, like it's like sometimes it feels like I'm hungover and I not even drinking, it's like a softball tournament, but I'm exhausted. But we're gonna talk about Danielle Redcliffe or Redlick. We are going to hop over to the testimony a little bit. Hey, Rody Gal, if you are not familiar with this case, this is the woman who is on trial for stabbing her husband. Uh, I thought it was pretty cut and dry, but as I've researched a little bit this weekend, and she's on it for second-degree murder. But basically, what they're trying to determine was it self-defense, or I thought it was cut and dry for me until I started listening to some and reading some different articles on Reddit, and we are going to listen to a few of those. Uh, I'm hesitant to stream too much of the trial because I had heard that people that streamed the Johnny Depp trial from Law and Crime, which is the only place that's streaming it, got strikes. And I'm like close, like 600 hours away from being able to have monetization. Hey, Punkette, and you can't do that if you have a strike. So I'm hesitant. I don't think they'll care much about me. But let's see here. I think we're gonna. You know what I think we're gonna. Where are you guys? I just lost you. I think what we're gonna do. No, I don't have any relatives in Alabama. Not that I know of. Maybe. I think what we're gonna do is go over what I found so far. Hey, Irvin. I want to play the recording of the first initial interview. Some of that. Yeah, Punk. Yeah, and they were striking people left and right for the Depp case. So I thought what I would do is listen to it, gather my thoughts on it, and then be able to come back and tell you guys and clip different pieces. But I want to play part of the interview of this is what changed my stuff. Okay, this is what changed my thought. So we know that Danielle Redlick, I think that's how you say your name. Oh, okay, cool, Crystal. She stabbed her husband. They said right here, like below the shoulder, upper chest. She went on a dating app for 11 hours afterwards. They gave the timeline of when she was on there. But I listened to some of the interviews afterwards, and then I wasn't so sure. Maybe it wasn't self-defense, and not that that's just, justifiable, but I think there's some things that like I had come into the case with like automatically this narrative that I was going to believe, and then I was like, okay, maybe there's more to the story. So we're gonna listen to a little bit of the daughter's interview with law enforcement. Hey, Danielle, which was right after, like a week after. Hey, Jen, the murder. The other thing that was weird is the daughter sounds so calm. It was weird. And then I want to listen to a little bit of his friends because that's actually more, um, tells me more actually than even the daughters about his drinking and some of that. So we're going to tune into that. By the way, I'm really that's what I think so, Crystal. I'm thinking that there are things coming out about him that people are going, wait, it's not as cut and dry as we thought. Given the fact this woman that's on the stand right now, they're talking about how, like, basically she's saying the DNA evidence is the blood was mixed with other things, so they can't get a great sample on it. And I think that's really going to hurt them. So let's listen to a little bit. Here, let me find it. And people are calling it, like, he was slaughtered, he was, brutally stabbed. So yes, he was, but he was stabbed one time. Not people are portraying it as is a lot different. So I'm going to play this. 1 second. Hey, Gold Star Mount, I did John Walsh's daughter, Megan Walsh, this weekend. Maybe I'll look at that, Danielle. Also, if you haven't had the chance, I am not going to touch it because I want to respect Sleuth Mom. And I'm really big on, like, if somebody's covering a case, I don't, I just feel like let them have the views for it and stuff. She is covering Dylan Rounds, and he is still missing, and that case has consumed me a lot. That is crazy. After we talk about this, I've got just a couple things to address, and but let's talk. So yeah, somebody was saying it's bizarre because, like, if Danielle had kids prior or something about, like, he was a dad and a grandpa at the same time. It's crazy. Also, my mom was telling me about this movie, and she said I need to dive into this case. I gotta ask you guys if you've seen it. Have you seen The Staircase? She said I need to cover this case. So I'm interested if y'all tell me you've seen it or if it's a good one to cover. It's good. I'm gonna have to look at that then. All right, we're just gonna listen to some of this here. Danielle. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that, guys. I'll look at that case. This is pieces of her daughter's.
This is Detective Ware. It's January 12th, 2019. It is 22 hours, and I will be.
I'm gonna go past this part.
Jaden Redlick, white female. And you say heated, like, what do you mean?
Just like nothing crazy. Just like they weren't on good terms, or like it was clear, like in like my house, like you would notice, okay, like they might not be on like the best terms right now. They like they they're not like too crazy or anything when they're arguing. They just raise their voices, I guess. So
okay. Before we go any further, I just want to. I know you're 15.
Yeah, 15.
Okay.
Crystal.
And you go to Winter Park High School.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
15.
So you're in 10th grade.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore.
Okay. So I just want to make sure you know the difference between a truth and a lie.
Okay.
It's crazy how she brings her into this. Watch this. This is crazy, this detective.
It's kind of hard to explain what a truth is and what a lie is. So that you see the truck in front of us?
Yes.
Okay, if I said that was a blue truck, what would that be?
A lie.
Because why?
It's silver.
Okay. And so the truth, how would you define the truth?
Like
hey, Sandy.
Example?
No, in any example.
I guess something that's accurate and like specific.
Okay.
And we're not trying to insult your intellect.
Yeah,
we're not very smart, but we just want to make sure that in this conversation, we'll bring talk to somebody that they understand the difference. Yeah. So, like the example that she provided, she said, it's a blue car. In actuality, like it says it's silver. So, let's say we're looking at a car and I ask you, what color is that vehicle? What color would it be? Silver. And is that the truth or lie? That's the truth. Okay. And what makes that?
Hey, and tease.
Because you can like visually see that it's silver, and it's not like, let's say somebody went up to that vehicle and started writing with a marker all over it, and it was me. I wrote all over it, and Pam came up to me and said, "Who wrote all over my car?" And I said, "It wasn't me." Would that be the truth? That's a lie. And what makes it a lie? Because
hey, Cotton Candy.
you did write on it. Okay. So if you were, let's say, mom asked you to clean the dishes, and the dishes are still sitting there, you're like, I already did the dishes, and she comes and she sees them, they're not done. Would that be true for a lie?
That's a lie.
Okay. And would mom do anything if you didn't clean the dishes and you lied to her?
She'd probably take my phone or just make
So-
me do the dishes.
so there-
Hold on one second. Do y'all see what the detective did right there? That was pretty tricky. Tricky. If you got that was interesting for me. We're gonna do some commentary of this. For anybody coming in, we are covering the Redlick case, but we're gonna do it Parker style. And I don't want to get struck by Law and Crime if you're just coming in, and they struck a whole bunch of people for the depth coverage. And to be honest, I'm afraid if I listen to the trial just straight up, it's gonna taint my, like, we're gonna do it Parker style. We're gonna deep dive into this. I also want to tell you, if you haven't checked out Mommy Ramblings, now everybody might not be a fan. However, she has the discovery and stuff of this case and some interrogation that she went ahead and got from public records and stuff that is worth the watch as well. So what I want to do is keep listening to her, but I thought this was crazy how the detective, did you hear how she was trying to explain a lie, what a lie was, and then to get the girl to admit she's going to tell the truth, but then went into, okay, well, what would this is why I'm not a detective, folks. Where is Rena? Somebody call Rena. Rena! All right. I do have one drama thing to address after this, but don't worry, I'm not going to be dramatic. I'm a little goofy today, okay? And I haven't even had melatonin. Okay, Michelle K is not here. Pamela, my pool girl, is not here. And Rena is not here. Unacceptable. All right. Sorry, y'all. And make sure, Rebellious. No, that's okay, Daniel. I just wanted to say if you're interested, and she's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, which is shocking. But she does have an interview with a neighbor, which is really interesting because the neighbor has changed her story a couple times, and it's a bit awkward. So, here we go. Now, guys, other thing it's important to remember about Redlick is that she had a 15-year-old daughter, her and Michael, and also a 10-year-old son that weren't at home now. So we have to keep in mind. Yeah, Jen, it's just So let me explain something. It takes Rebellious. Can you drop her link? And can you also? I'm sorry if you're working, Rebellious. I don't have any other mods here right now. Can you drop Candy Cotton Boobs link too? And anybody else who has a she has, when somebody goes to the links, it actually takes quite a bit to fill out the forms to get some of the discoveries and stuff for public records, and it is helpful to have those interviews. So anyways, here we go. I just got off on a tangent. What is wrong with me right now, guys? What is wrong with me? Where did it go? Oh, there we go.
There's some kind of punishment if you lie to her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rebellious. You're
It's the same
amazing.
concept here. If you give false information.
Wednesday we're covering
there's
Alexis,
gonna be some
Rebellious.
penalty for that if you lie. Because in a minute, Detective Blair is going to swear you in. You know what that means to be sworn in. So basically, it's you raising your right hand, and she's going to swear you in. It just means that you promise that in the conversation we're going to have.
What is happening?
Okay. So there's certain questions, and like I said, we appreciate you coming here,
consequences for those. But you swear that everything you say is going to be true.
Yes, I swear.
Okay. So,
I love my mods.
so you said that earlier in your statement, you said that it had been like this whole year you guys have been going through a lot.
Yeah, all of 2018.
Okay.
Really listen to her
Like,
testimony,
at the beginning
guys.
of the year, or
Yeah,
okay.
in January.
So
Michael
what-
was
can you
killed
kinda
in
describe,
2019.
like what happened?
Well, last January, my parents were on pretty bad terms because of they always tell me, they're like, you're too young to understand. So I don't know the exact reasoning, yet, I guess.
Ugh.
But my dad moved out because they were separating, but they weren't getting a divorce.
Okay.
So he moved out in April of last year, and he moved back in I think late October.
Okay.
They've always had like an off and on relationship for like I think the past 5 or 6 years. And of course I like was something like an incident happened with me last year in September, and that caused a strain on like some stuff in my family. So from like September to I'd say about early December, there was like not tension, but we were all going and like trying to work through some things that had happened.
Okay.
So, but pretty much after that, it started to get really good. Like I had a better relationship with my parents, and I felt more connected to them. But just
Yes,
recently,
thank
like,
you,
just
Rebellious,
this
for
week,
reminding me,
it's
because
been
Remy won't tell
rocky
me.
again.
What do you think is causing it to get rocky?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I think something happened where last year my dad met this woman, and my parents were separated at that time, and that was when they were saying, okay, we're gonna get a divorce. So I guess he was talking to this other woman, and my mom like was really hurt by that, and she had like an app on her phone, not a dating app. She told me it was for, she showed me the app. It was for like work or something, because she's trying to get back into work because she hasn't had a job in a while. And some random guy was like flirting with her or something, but she didn't respond. And my dad saw that, and I think that's what caused like an argument or
Was
something.
that recent or?
Yeah, I think that was like what went on this week from.
Please,
That's
if you
what
have
I'm
a channel and I don't know,
Do you know
please tell me.
what the app was called? You said it was like a workout.
I don't know what it was called, but
What type of work was she looking for?
my mom is trying to get back into. She's a really good writer, and she's always been in. She has like a photographer. She's like certified in photography, so she loves to write and like take photos. So I think she was trying to do something in that area, maybe like I don't know, for like a newspaper or something.
Okay.
So she was trying to find opportunities.
And when you said your dad had a relationship with another person, do you know if he's still having a relationship with somebody else?
This has not been
That
proven.
ended, I think, a while ago. Like I think it kind of occurred in like January and February, and he stopped talking to her because my mom wrote her a letter and was saying like, we're not divorced, like he's still married, like leave my family alone, basically.
And has she told you anything recently? Because your mom said anything that she suspected him seeing somebody else? Or?
No.
Okay, so it was mainly that he suspected. And why would he suspect that she was possibly seeing somebody else to that message?
I don't know exactly how he thought that, but maybe I'm assuming maybe he saw her phone or something, and this guy texted her or something.
Do you know what it said, or did your mom show you what that message?
She only showed
yes.
me one, and he just said it was him texting her, and he
Brandy,
just said,
I'm going to
like,
cover that case. I just found
like,
out
I'd
about
love
it.
to
Yes,
meet
this
you
is
and
her
discuss some
15-year-old
stuff. And he
daughter.
was like, you look great in your profile photo. So he was
Rebellious,
just
could
flirting
you
with my
drop
mom.
Brandy's channel too?
But my mom wouldn't. She told me I have a really close relationship with my mom. She told me that she didn't have anything going on with this guy or anything.
Tough, that's the daughter.
And so, this week when that happened, you said they kind of got in a verbal argument, I guess. Did your mom stay at the house, or did she leave, or?
She stayed. I came home from school. I believe it was Thursday.
I would totally be down with that,
And
Brandy. Let's do
She
it.
basically told me because, my family, we've gone through so much together, and she told me, she was like, when Dad comes home, I don't know, he's angry with me right now, so if you, like, sense tension or, like, I'm just warning you, like, I'm gonna tell my little brother Sawyer, too. Like, she said, I'm gonna tell.
Thoughts real quick so far, guys. Rebellious, you know I love you. Thank you. Guys, also Wednesday, check out, I'm going to be talking. Sleazebomb, there you are. I've been talking big on you. my ADD is bad today, guys. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so really quick, let's break this up. Sleuth Mom has a case that I said I wasn't going to cover because Rebellious, my favorite person. Could you drop Sleuth Mom as well? I just said I like to respect people, and when somebody's covering a case, I don't like to start covering it if I know that, because I want to give my friends the views of that case. She is covering a case that I was up down a rabbit hole for hours last night. Dylan Rounds, amazing, amazing, hardworking boy, 19 years old. Sleuth Mom, correct me if I'm wrong. Hi, Albie Frank. Her coverage of this case, y'all, is phenomenal, and she actually has an interview with the mother. He has been missing since May 28th, to the best of my knowledge, and it's basically Sleuth Mom. If I'm correct, all they have of him is a pair of boots he wore every day that they found, guys. He was a wicked hard worker. He owned a farm. Ugh. So please, please, the mom is desperate. Hey, Vicky, the mom is desperate for help. Please check out her channel, guys. Please help and go check out Sleuth Mom and watch this stuff. Um, hey, Tara. Oh, I'm sorry. It is. So, Vicky, we are, so please check that out, guys. I'm begging you because this mother needs help. If you find things that you're like, hey, what about this? You'll find the Facebook page on her thing, and please reach out to her. She will be able to direct you to where it goes, guys. They need any help. They've searched nonstop for days. And we're talking, it's in Nevada, desert, okay? It's just a tragic situation. So I also, guys, want to keep it over in her community. And this is going to sound really bad because I love you all here. I would like to keep it out of the Krama community because, yes, Sleuth Mom's got the interview, guys, her of the mother. It's a very sensitive case. Mom is very vulnerable right now, and I'm afraid if it gets over here, it's going to turn into like it's just going to be bad. So sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to say that respectful, but I'm trying to say that respectful. I just thanks, Jen. Just okay. That's my plug because I was so like she just did a really great job on this case, and it's very factual, and that's where it needs to be right now. Okay, so anybody coming in, we are listening to a little bit of Danielle Redlick's daughters. Really? What? You're kidding me, Danielle. Thanks, Jen. I just, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Right, True Brandy. Sleuth Mom, Danielle, can you email her if you know of that so she can look into that? Because that's bizarre. So if you're just coming in, we're talking about the Redlick case. Hey, Jackie. And basically, we're listening to the daughter's interview, a little bit of it. Now, the only thing that I'm cautious with this interview is because it's her daughter, and they have a very close communication or close relationship. Now, up until when you guys heard me Friday, I was like, this woman's crazy, cut and dry, boom. Lock her up, throw the key away. You do, and your timeline, Sleuth Mom, was amazing. But after listening to different testimonies and digging a little bit deeper this weekend, I'm just not sure. I'm positive she stabbed him. We know that. But the type of guy he maybe was, I think, has been twisted a bit in the media. Yeah, Sleuth Mom. And I'm telling you guys, if people get a hold of this in the Krama community, it is going to be another Summer Wells. So I just would prefer to keep it over there. And I am really weird. I just like when my friends are covering something, I feel like let them cover it. If they want to cover it with me, then we'll cover. But isn't that what we're supposed to do? Like, aren't we supposed to like have each other's back? I guess that's just me. But let's listen to a little bit more of this because I really want to focus on the Friends interview.
Tell Sawyer too,
Mhm.
just like,
I did,
my
I'll
dad
be
aren't on
frank.
good terms right now, basically.
Okay.
And he came home and, he didn't yell at her or anything. My dad is just he's a very sarcastic person. And he was just very snappy with my mom and was kind of like, being sassy to her. And he was just being kind of rude. And that's basically how it went.
Okay. And
Thank you, Brandy.
Do either of them drink a lot, or were there?
Listen to this, please.
My mom used to not have issues with drinking, but she did use it as like kind of a coping mechanism when they went through a rough time.
Sorry, I don't know why this is breaking up.
She hasn't drank in a while, I don't think, for, as a coping mechanism like she used to. But more recently, my dad never really used to drink, but he has recently, I guess more than I used to see him drink.
Okay. Was he drinking on Thursday?
Yeah, as the night went on, he was drinking.
Okay. And your mom stayed there at the house?
Mm-hmm.
And things? Okay. And was there anything that you noticed? Like, could you hear them arguing, or?
Well, my we're all pretty loud, so I did hear them arguing.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you tell, like, what they were saying?
My dad was just like, he was accusing her of like talking to like several different men.
Okay.
And he was saying like, I don't know. He was like saying, "Oh, are you gonna go on a date or something?" I don't know.
Okay.
Nothing.
Kind of like being sarcastic, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And this is when he was drinking also.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know how much he had to drink, or?
I do not know how much he had to drink.
Okay. Did they sleep in the same bedroom?
No.
This is
I don't
interesting.
think they did on Thursday.
Okay.
They don't usually sleep in the same bedroom.
Okay, so when your dad moved back in late October, they don't sleep in the same bedroom usually?
Honestly, I'm always in my room,
Okay.
so I'm not sure. But I think some nights they do, but
Okay.
other nights they don't.
Okay. And if they don't sleep in the same bedroom, where do you know?
My mom usually always sleeps in the master bedroom.
Okay.
My dad, we used to have an air mattress upstairs, and we kind of have I think it's like a futon upstairs. So he sleeps up there, or he'll sleep in my brother's room, and my brother will sleep. He likes sleeping upstairs because he has like his game console up there. So he'll sleep upstairs, or he'll sleep with my mom.
Okay, your dad has a game console.
The brother
No, my
is
brother.
10.
Oh, your brother has a game console.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So your dad will either sleep upstairs or in your brother's room.
Yes.
Okay. And was there anything said between like you and your dad on Thursday or this week?
Not. I mean,
like argument wise?
Thursday I did get in kind of an argument with my dad. I was like angry with him because drinking is like a sensitive thing for my family because it's just like a sensitive type of thing in my family, and I was like angry with him for drinking, so I kind of yelled at him a little bit.
Okay. When you say it's a sensitive thing, why?
My mom's
Hey, leave it
biological
to
father,
Bubber.
he's a war vet, and he's an alcoholic, and he's been drinking for like 30 plus years.
Okay.
And it's also, I think it just kind of runs in my family, like my mom's side and my dad's side.
Okay. Like alcoholism?
Yeah.
Okay. And Are your mom's parents still alive? Your grandparents?
1 second. Where am I? Okay, so a lot of her interview is like, just very cut and dry like that, explaining the family dynamics. So the hard part about a daughter interview is she had a fight with her dad the day before. Now, as a child, think teenager, 15 years old, you fight with your dad, like you're already ticked off, right? She was exceptionally close to her mom. So it's a really tough it's tough, I think, to get a what's that word I'm looking for? Where you like a non-biased type of interview. But what I do want you to listen to part of that I'm gonna play is, if I can find it. Right, is uh-oh. Excuse me 1 second. The school is calling me. That's never good. I'm sorry, guys. The school just hung up on me. All right, is Sleuth Mom, I call you the wrong thing every time, too. So, all right. Let me find his friend because I want to listen to a little bit of that. Oh my gosh, y'all, if you haven't listened to the oh my goodness, hold on. School's calling me again. So sorry, guys. My daughter is such a good kid. Called me to say she had to say 13th period, which is like an extra study hall because she had to go do something for soccer. But if you guys haven't watched the opening statements of this Redlick from the defense, it was embarrassing. I had secondhand embarrassment for this lawyer. It was pretty bad. All right, you ready? We're gonna listen to a little bit of the friends because I believe that this is actually important. Where did I put it? Not that one. There we go. There's a couple pieces of this I'm trying to get you guys to understand the other side of things, okay? So here we go. Snow remover, I just gave MRB a plug because her coverage of this case has been phenomenal. So I said that would be that they should go there to see some of the interrogation and whatnot.
As a reference to case number 2019-46000053. Today's date is January 17, 2019. Time now is 12:07 hours.
Oh, rebellious.
We'll be calling Tony
Brother,
Baroni Jr. Telephone number friend of Michael
channel 2 if
Redlick.
you want to drop that. Thanks, Vicky. It's good to watch her because she's got the discovery. The audio for this is kind of messed up, but you'll get the gist.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Mr. Baroni Jr.?
Yeah, this is me.
Hi, this is Sergeant Supak, Winter Park Police Department. How you doing?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. Is now a good time to talk to you about Mr. Redlick?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you're in the middle of something. I appreciate you calling me back. We're just trying to gather as much information from people who knew Mr. Redlick. I'm sorry for your loss. I understand he was a close friend of yours or something.
It's part of the audio.
Yeah, I talked to him on Wednesday night. Before Wednesday night, he asked me to come speak to his class in 2 or 3 weeks, like on a Friday at the end of the month. So we were confirming that. So I was flying in a day early to have lunch with them and speak that morning and leave. So yeah, I had just spoken with him.
When were you due to be a speaker this next Friday?
No, I want to say the 25th. No, that's all right.
Vicky, MRB has the Discovery on her channel.
I want to say the 15th of February, maybe. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it.
All right. And so, when you spoke to him on Wednesday, how was he?
He was fine. You know, I've known him probably. I've worked close with him in Memphis, and then I've always stayed in touch with him.
We won't watch a lot of this, but this
with
first
his
part
wife
is what I want you to hear
throughout
about.
the years
He
has been
describes his
rocky.
drinking.
So every time I talk to him, I'm straight up with him. So I always ask him first how he's doing. If it's getting any better, that's my first question with him. You know, I don't mince words. So he had said Wednesday night, he said, no, everything's fine. She's still crazy as ever. But I'm back in the house because he had moved out a while ago. But he had said he had moved back in. And I said, is everything going okay,
That's
though?
fine,
Are you guys
Vicky.
still having problems? He goes, no, she's just really angry all the time. But he said, I'm in it for the kids. That's what he said. And then he went into how Jaden and Sawyer had been. I haven't talked to him about any updates on them.
Right.
But that's how I always start my conversations with him.
Now you mentioned you've known him for a couple of years. About how many years have you known him?
Well, grad school was 96, and then he circled back and started working. I was director of scouting for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he started working there. You know, I'd have to look, but I mean, I've known we worked together in Memphis for probably 6 or 7 years.
Oh, okay.
He lived a block from my parents. My dad also worked with us. So I'd always see him, stop by his house when I'd go see him in Mud Island, which is downtown Memphis, and see him at the office pretty much every other day.
Okay. So now, in the years that you've known him, you've come to know his family, right? His wife and his children. You mentioned him, confiding you on whatever issues they had amongst each other. Had you ever seen them argue or gotten into any kind of altercation? Can you just
it was
that to me?
Now listen real
it was
carefully in the
Jaden's
next few
birthday
minutes.
at their house in Mud Island. I want to say she was 5. I'm not. It's murky, but she just was very, very high strung. Not even high strung. It was just a quick trigger where she'd get pissed. I saw it about 2. I saw it 2 times where she got really pissed and started laying into him where I had not seen that side of her, and it stood out to me. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up, because I remember, and she would start MFing him, and then he would try to walk away from it and just leave it alone. In front of me, he never really snapped and started getting salty with
Okay, the
her.
next 5 minutes are
Now,
important.
I don't know how they were in private. I will say there was an incident, again, the date I wouldn't even know. He was working with us at the Grizzlies. I had several friends in town at a place called Huey's, downtown Memphis, and he came, a car pulled up. It's like on a Saturday afternoon. Car pulled up on the sidewalk, and he almost crashed into the place. He came into the restaurant.
Yeah, listen to this though.
And he's like, it's bad. I look over, and he's standing in the freaking doorway, and he's got like a big scratch, like a claw mark across his right face. And I walked over. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? I took him outside. His car's on the sidewalk. He goes, she was throwing plates, and she started hitting me, so I had to hit her. That's what he said. I said, what are you doing? So I took him across the street. There's a hotel called the Peabody. I said, you need to get a room and sit here for a minute. So I called Danielle. She wouldn't answer. And then I walked back over to my friends. I called his other buddy. I think I called Chad or somebody. I don't remember, to try to go check on him. I never heard back from him. And a couple days later, I checked in, and he downplayed it, said everything was fine. But at the time, he had told me that she was throwing plates across the room and breaking stuff, trying to hit him. And he physically had the scratch across his face. It was brand new that day. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? This isn't healthy.
Did he tell you what started that argument?
No, he did always say that when they would talk, she would snap in his terms. Mm-hmm. And I jokingly on my end, I'm single, so I always say, oh, you married people, you guys are nuts. You guys are always doing this, and that's why I'm single, and all that. But he always would say, she just has a lot of anger issues. She really has to manage it. She's not doing a good job of it.
So when you describe the marks on his face, when you say claw marks, did it look like scratch marks across his face?
Yeah.
Or fresh blood marks or anything?
Yes, it was fresh, totally. My friends all saw it. They were just acquaintances from Peoria, Illinois, just in town visiting me. And they're like, who the hell is that? And I'm like, I work with the guy. And it's one of my good friends from grad school.
When he said that he had to hit her back, did he tell you what he did to her?
No, he just said he punched her. He said, I hit her back, I punched her, I had to defend myself. I said, what are you talking about?
Yep.
He said, she came at me after throwing the plates and hit me with one of them and scraped my. He said she did this. He pointed at his face. Mm-hmm. And again, this was probably a good almost 8 or 10 years ago. I just remember when it happened because he literally almost pulled into the restaurant with it.
Mm-hmm. Did he, when he pulled in and you kind of described his driving going up the curb or something like that, did he appear to have been drinking prior to going?
Yeah.
This is the last part right here.
Yeah, not as bad as he typically is. Mike drank a ton. He would drink a bunch all the time. But in this setting, he didn't seem.
So we're going to stop it there because that's pretty much what I want you to gather from that. Yes, Sleuth Mom said it perfectly, and as did Brandy. It sounds mutually abusive to me. So the one thing that is hard, so we got to play out the Johnny Depp case, we saw all of that. Snow Remover, are you still here? Can you tell me, Snow Remover, if you are, wasn't it documented that people were saying he didn't drink? Because the thing is he is a man of very high status, right? Because he worked for the Grizzlies. So it's hard because he's not here. Do I think she was abusive? I absolutely do. However, I don't think that he is this innocent guy who never lost his temper. And do you know what I'm saying? I think this was a toxic relationship. I mean, this guy said this goes back 10 years. And in this statement, he says that he had a scratch because she punched him and that he almost drove through a bar or a restaurant, which would tell me, okay, you said he wasn't drinking, but typically if you're going to drive through a bar or almost drive through a restaurant, you've had a few. Now, the other thing that's important to remember is from what I believe I heard was that not Vicky, I just saw your name. Danielle and him had been drinking that day. Now, 2 years ago, in 2018 or something like that, Danielle was arrested drinking, where she then tried to bite a police officer. Okay. So she was not allowed to drink. If she was caught drinking, that was a violation of her probation. So I do think that was in the back of her mind too, regarding calling the police. I do think that obviously the question of whether or not she killed him is not a question. But I am up in the only thing that is keeping me up in the air is if this was a full-blown fight and the two of them were basically hitting each other. But on the other hand, it is hard because she did wait the 11 hours to call him. Now, based on the way the blood was, they said she didn't drag him or anything. So I don't know. What are your thoughts based on just those brief interviews we've heard? I don't think it was premeditated. Do you think that she was just downright crazy and was going to kill him either way? Do you think she was abusive and he wasn't? Or do you think it was just a mutually abusive, toxic, just one of them was going to end up dead? They should have never been together. Or do you think that she was the one that was abused? Exactly, Sooth Mom. It's just maddening. Or do you think she was the one abused and this was straight up just self-defense? Yeah, because we're talking like, y'all, I mean, we were originally led to believe this guy was like this calm, cool, collected, just right. I didn't hear until this interview that he, when they were separated, in fairness, had a girlfriend himself. And so, if he was drinking that heavily, Michelle, okay, I've been calling for you, wondering where you were. uh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she did Google how to slit her wrist. That's, yep, you're right. She did do that, Sleuth Mom. Thank you. I forgot that part. Yep, I think you're right, Brandy. Yes, exactly, Sleuth Mom. But here's my other question, guys. So what we heard today then was somebody saying that the blood, they couldn't get great DNA from it because it was mixed with the other because it was tried to clean up and everything. Do you think they have that they're going to end up with enough to convict her for second-degree murder? It's not over yet, but I'm telling you guys, like when you listen to his friend's interview, he himself, his friend's interview said he drank a lot and he hit her too. So you do, Brandy? Yeah. And unfortunately, the neighbor claimed that she saw her slapping around him in the front yard um, at times. But then her story has been weird. So part of me almost thought, was the neighbor messing around with him? It's really weird. It's really weird. But it is, I mean, it's a tragic situation no matter how you slice it. Because look, the kids are now without two parents, right? Without a mom because she's in prison and a dad. And yeah, right, Sleuth Mom. I think that's what makes these cases so hard. True, Brandy. That's very true. And the eggs, remember the eggs? Yep. And the defense, from the best of my knowledge, this is a public defender, but that might be different. You guys might be able to fill me in. It sounds so far I've heard that they've struggled a lot from little things I've seen. So I think, you know, you have to have a really good lawyer to sell it. But I do think if there's just one jury member, that it could be really hard. There's a couple other things I want to tell you guys about too. This case that just absolutely infuriates me. Um, so it'll be interesting, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit, and we'll keep following it as things happen with that. Um, 1 second, let me look one thing up. I hope my son stays 13th period too. That would be awesome. Gosh. Mm. Not that I've seen Brandy, but it's possible. I'd have to check. Right, Sleuthmon. I mean, I was arguing with my husband this morning about something. I mean, obviously it was like a few minutes, but we've all had moments where we're like, I mean, where my husband won't have listened for the 50th time. Yeah. It, it's just a sad case. It's, it does sound like she was very close with her mother and the daughter, and um it does sound like they were separated at points, and it just oh my goodness, Sandy, they should have never been together. Well, I mean, based to the fact that he was at one point her stepdaughter, that's awkward as well. Sleuth mom, I know, right? So I'm not sure. It's changing topics just really quick. If you guys ever heard, so I have some friends, and I wouldn't say they're friends, they're acquaintances of. I'm not sure if you know Davy Blackburn, and yes, it does, Gen 8, and Amanda Blackburn. She's was murdered. He was a pastor, and they started a church, and he has since remarried and has another baby and stuff, and has an awesome relationship still with her parents, but he had gone to the gym one morning. Snow remover. Good point. He had gone to the gym one morning and somebody and their baby was upstairs, and three men broke into her house and assaulted her, and she said she was the only one in the house, and like, because she was basically trying to protect the baby, and they shot her 3 times, once in the back of the head. That's how she ended up dying, was a gunshot wound to the back of the head. He came home from the gym and found her like that, and found the baby upstairs in the crib, safe. Um, it is one of the most heart-wrenching stories ever. And the third guy, named Larry, was the only one. One second. Oh, and the other thing that's important to know is that she was pregnant at the time as well. Um, the third guy now, and the reason I'm saying this is because it's maddening. The third guy that was involved in this just got his second mistrial. Based on the judge was questioning the jurors' knowledge of the case. That one of the jurors found out at the time of death that Amanda was, hey Diana, pregnant. A fact defense had successfully moved to keep from the jurors. Now there's a new trial being scheduled. And the other two were only sentenced to 29 years in prison. Like, how do you just randomly walk in and do that? Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's so freaking sad. It's so sad. And then it just feels like some people are just getting away with it, and it's just maddening. That story is just so sad. Okay, so couple things. I got some email asking me, which was funny because it wasn't even like, it was like a not like a an email address I recognized, and it wasn't. I know, Danielle, it wasn't even signed, asking me if I was going to start a PayPal pool and stuff and how I felt about it. No. No. First of all, not my money, not my business. I'm not going to start one. I just don't want to. I don't care who starts one. If they want to hassle with it. They want the hassle with it. More power to them. I have no thoughts on it. Okay. The other thing that was brought to my attention was that, so I was gone all weekend, guys. I was barely around, right? This is the only thing I'm going to really address about the drama, and it's going to be disappointing for you guys because I don't really have a huge address for it. Was that I found out, like, through the grapevine of just happening to pop into a stream that my name was the topic of like a disagreement in between Brittany and Christiane, and um like everybody thought I would be mad, but here's the deal. Christiane and I are fine now. Like, I have no issues with her at all. I think there is stuff behind the scenes that went on, and we were influenced by other, people that probably did some damage to our relationship. I have no problem with her now. I think she's fine. And I have no problem with Brittany. And that I was ever a topic between the two of them behind the scenes, like, that's water under the I don't care. In my Really, Vicky? Thank you, Vicky. Yeah. You know what? What's that saying, guys? What people say about me is none of my business. And I didn't necessarily see them say, "Hey, Mrs. Portley, yeah, she's fine. We're fine, you guys." I think that was right. Me too, Sandy. Right? I just told my kids, like, you guys can't eat this summer. Just kidding. Like, and I think they were mainly. I don't think they were there. Theirs was just that it was an issue at one time that I was at Brittany's, but like since then, Christine and I are fine. We're fine. Like, we don't really have a relationship outside of YouTube, but I don't have a relationship with. Oh, I have no kids home. Yes, another hour free. Basically, what I'm just saying is that I'm cool with it. It's, I didn't think anything of it. Hey, Mrs. P, it was just funny because I was popped into Mandy, Mandy sees live, and I heard my name, and I was like, "Oh, I just got here. What's going on?" or something. But because she was playing the thing, I guess. Yeah, don't sweat it, y'all. Like it. I'm fine with everybody. I don't have, well, except for one. But exactly, Sandy. Like, what's said about me in private is none of my business. And one thing I've learned about this community is you cannot convince people. Like, they're gonna believe what they want. Um, people were upset with how Brittany dealt with the money, but I like with the giving it to St. Jude's. In my opinion, it went to St. Jude's. It's not my business. But second, I mean, I can't say I blame her. It's just, I don't know. But yeah, so you guys, totally good. Nothing is bad. Like, we're all fine. And from Christiane's perspective, I do understand, like, I understand her perspective of having issues with me, and then all of a sudden I pop up. Like, I can't say I wouldn't have felt the same way that she did, so in that sense, she's completely justified. Brandy, that's awesome. Brandy. Yep. Exactly, Sleuth Mom. And one thing, anything you can learn from this community is the more attention you give them, the more material. Like, it doesn't stop. At all. Now, I have not seen in other communities the PayPal, and I said this right on Brittany's thing. I have not seen the PayPal pools the way they are in this community, but oh, I know, rebellious. I know. Have at it. Yep, exactly. And too, in Brittany's fairness, this is like, everybody is a little bit panicked. This inflation is really difficult. So, I mean, it's okay to ask for help. Yeah, exactly, Brandy. And I'm all about, like, there's times you need to address and stand up for yourself, but there's also creators that you have to know that if you do so, it just continues. So, I don't know. So yeah, so when people asked if I was okay because of that and stuff, I didn't think there was anything bad with it at all. I think Christiane had a reason to feel the way she did, and I mean, all is fine. I guess if somebody else thought we were going to have problems, I am sorry, but we didn't. Oh, wow. And Christiane was very hurt too. You know, you could sense it in her voice. She's been hurt about by a lot of this stuff, so I do think there's a common denominator, but you know, that's just my opinion. Exactly, Vicky, exactly. And I will say no one has pressured me to drop tea and stuff. They've all been very respectful on my stance of just letting things go. Oh, I'm sure she does, I'll be frank. There's too many big things out there right now going on to worry about. Oh my gosh, I'll be frank. You guys do have to go over to Sleuth Mom's channel and watch those videos. Really sad too. I just saw that just now that they might not release any of the 911. Something about they might not have to release anything from the Uvalde school shooting because of a legal loophole. And that is very sad because there was a lot of people that worried that that was going to happen. Oh, Rebellious, could you drop Sleuth's channel again? Vicky, you've got to watch her Dylan Rounds case. In fact, I'm looking at his website or looking at his Facebook right now to see if there's anything updated from today. The hard part is what I'm seeing about that case is everybody wants to find like I don't know. Dylan was a pretty standard kid from what it sounds like, a very hardworking kid, and it's just I mean, oh, just so sad. Yeah, I know. Sleuth Mom, is there? Yep, exactly. Is there any updates today or anything whatsoever found about Dylan? If you don't know the Dylan Rounds case, she covers it phenomenally. She actually has an interview with the mom on on her page. One thing I want to tell you guys too is so like Sleuth yesterday, thank you, Jen. That's awesome. Reminded her subs is that people on Facebook aren't exactly being. Oh, okay, Sleuth. Um, considerate of mom. So we are moms first, right? So I want to remind you guys something. Dylan was this hardworking. He wasn't a normal kid. Like he partnered with his grandfather to build this farm. That he worked nonstop, nonstop. He was 19, and I think from when he was 17, he partnered. I mean, videos of you see of this kid on her page, like he was working the farm from, well, probably since he could walk. Uh, but he didn't live with his parents. So, as a mom, you want to believe the best in your kids, right? So, like, even if there's things that, I don't know, people just aren't always considerate of I think that she's a mother first before it's heartbreaking following his Facebook page and seeing some of the because mom's on there, she's an admin, seeing some of the inconsiderate comments of people is very very sad. What I do know, and I can fill you in a little bit from what Sleuth has told us, that he was basically seen at a restaurant. I'll be frank, if you're here, can you make sure I'm telling this right? In Nevada, he was seen at a restaurant and 19 years old, great kid. He went basically the next day. He just disappeared. And what was it, like 5 miles down the road or something in the desert? His boots were found and nothing but his boots. But the boots that were found, y'all, are boots that he never took off. Like he wore the same pair of boots. If he had to get a new pair, it was like the same boots. From the time that you could see when he was a kid, he had boots on. And there's nothing else except, from my understanding, one gun missing. And the car, the truck, the seat was pulled up and they found it in four-wheel drive, and apparently the four-wheel drive was not working. So like Dylan would know that it wasn't working, so, but definitely, so that's the gist. It's just a tragic, so they've been, from my understanding, searching nonstop for him in the desert to no avail. They just don't have much of anything. But there's people I question. One of a farm hand that was fired earlier, so, but she's got all that on her page, and I'm telling you, it's very, very sad. So I feel bad for Mom for this reason. As much as it's so hard because we want him found, right? But I don't want him found in the desert because it's like you want to find him, you just, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to find him, but you don't at the same time in that area. But it's hard because based on the sounds of Dylan, I don't see that he would be a kid that would just disappear. I don't at all. It's just a really, really sad situation. But it sounds like Sleuth is on the phone with his mom right now. So she should have some more information on her channel about him later. What situation? Oh, your situation. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mrs. P. And Sleuth worked on a really good timeline yesterday too that'll break it down for you guys. I question the guy that he fired. I don't know. We'll see. You guys can see. But anyways, all right, y'all. I want to let you guys get on with your day. I better get some schoolwork done, unfortunately. But yes, you want to find them alive, and if you find them like in the middle of a desert, the chances of that are, well, good. Hey, Mrs. P, don't talk too much about it on here. Keep your legal stuff legal. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.